Full and uncut versions available on Patreon. Check in the description below.
Greetings once again, Pokemaniacs. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with more of the Pokemon Adventures manga. Last time we finally finished Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I make it sound like it was that long of a trek, but with that ending, it felt like a bottle cap to everything that happened previously in the Sinnoh region, with Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and all that, because of the connection with Palkia, Dialga, Giratina, and all that good stuff. Honestly, it kind of makes me wish that the Johto trio would meet the Sinnoh trio, but we got to see the conclusion of Team Rocket's machinations. Archie's summoning of Arceus, having Arceus summon Giratina, Palkia, Dialga, or create them? It's kind of hard to say, because technically they should have already been created because there were depictions of them, so I'm not really sure how that works, but whatever. Space-time weirdness. But Petrol had his own plans, knowing that Silver was Giovanni's son, looking to actually groom a child to take over the family business. Oddly enough, Gold, Silver, and Crystal were aided by Lance, Price, and Giovanni, former villainous leaders of evil organization, in an attempt to calm Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina. And despite Price being lost to time, Celebi had chosen to give him another chance at making things right. Gold confronted Arceus and was able, through his bond with Togepi, who became Togetic and then Togekiss, which, at the very least with Togetic you need high levels of friendship. So this depiction helped to calm Arceus' sorrow and anger, restoring Arceus' faith in humanity, which, you've been there, buddy. All these legendaries returned to where they would end up, except Arceus, once we hit Diamond and Pearl. He also found out that Lance was defeated because Petrol disguised himself as Yellow, the Fiend. But Petrol got his comeuppance in the end. Although despite a heartfelt moment between Giovanni and Silver, when Giovanni was cured of his fatal illness, he still decided to lead Team Rocket, and Silver decided to stop them at any cost. He also had the radio director Hiro decide to base an animated series off of not Gold, but in fact Red, specifically his Pokemon team. And that team would be known as Pro Team Omega, Diamond's favorite series, and oddly enough, Silver's too. We also got to see Cynthia a little bit younger, as well as meeting a younger Palmer, who in fact had Regigigas in his possession and released it in the ruins, where it would one day be discovered by Platinum and handed over to Diamond. So many things came full circle, and it really did feel like the last little bit of connective tissue needed to make the Diamond and Pearl story stronger, but also made Heart Gold and Soul Silver that much better as well. Now we jump into Black and White, and depending on how you look at the Diamond, Pearl / Platinum story arc, this, I think, is the longest story arc of the series so far, in terms of at least volume size, volume amount I should say, and we're also in territory that is utterly foreign to me. I was very not knowing about the latter half of Diamond and Pearl, and especially Platinum, and a lot of elements of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but it's Johto stuff, so at least some of that I know about, but, once you got to the Arceus stuff, it's just like, ooh. But here, aside from catching a few episodes of Diamond and Pearl, Black and White here and there, with Ash traveling with Iris and green-haired waiter dude, was it Chillin? Chirin? I don't remember the dude's name. I just remember Iris because I thought she was cool. But the sponsor of these videos, Steven, has said that the main protagonist, at least the male main protagonist, is one of his favorite, right next to Red. So that is a very glowing endorsement. So join me as I check out this long journey, especially considering that I guess it connects with Black 2 and White 2. So if you put that together, we're in it for the long haul. Not to mention all the setup that was put into going to Unova Looker headed over this way after the situation in the Battle Frontier about an evil organization on the rise? What mysteries await me, specifically in Unova? Because, again, don't have a lot of knowledge about this region. Well, join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, let's get it started. Now, this is going to be a fairly short one, just because there's only like 4 chapters in this volume, and that's mostly because of the way that Viz arranges things. In the original Japanese, they kind of tail-ended a lot of stuff from the previous story arc into this volume. But I do prefer the way Viz does it, where they make sure that certain generations keep to their volumes. You know, not too much cross-contamination to throw anyone off. And they kind of doubled down on it by making it so that the volumes were separate. So we're starting at a brand new number 1 here, instead of just continuing on from where we were previously. And I very much do not blame them for doing that. It makes it easier for the readers. It makes it a little bit more comprehensive. It's just an all-around smart idea, in my opinion. But I also will say that this is the generation probably with the least amount of Pokemon that I find interesting, mostly because I only have so much knowledge about them. Alright, enough preamble, I think. Let's get in. And Pokemon Adventures Black and White, Volume 1/Volume 43, depending on how you want to look at it. I know that we have Professor Juniper, Bianca, and Chirin, and I guess that's the main protagonist, Black? I think that's who they are. Yeah, again, very passing knowledge from a few episodes of Black and White that I've seen. Tepig, Oshawott, and Snively? Or Snively? Nope, it's Snivy. There we go. Alright. The 10th chapter. Unova Ideals, Black Dragon type. Unova Truths, White Dragon type. And is it like, is it Reshiram and Kirim? I think. Alright. A new adventure has begun. Adventure number 1. Fussing and fighting. Whoa! You don't have the name of the Pokemon in the... Really? That's actually shocking to find out, huh? Now, Unova is based off of New York, here in America, which I was born in Manhattan specifically. No memories of Manhattan. I live almost as far away from that as possible. You know, the other end of the map, you know, downward, you know, in Florida, the cesspool. I'd say no offense to any other Floridians, but you know where we live. Alright. Far from the bustling metropolis of Castelia City in the Unova region lies Nuvema Town. One evening, we pick up at the Juniper Pokemon Lab. A voice calls out, "Yes, that's right. I made up my mind. I've chosen 3 from right here in Nuvema." Oh, it's Juniper. And she has, what is that thing's name? They're cute. Minchino. And she's holding a plate of food. I guess it's her lunch. She's talking on the phone saying, "That's right, the kids I'm going to entrust Pokemon to." Look, there's a lot of reasons why I know of Professor Juniper. One of which is, damn. I'm just saying. Look, I love me just the mature-esque women. And the career women, too. And pretty young for her field. I think the youngest professor, question mark, until you get to question mark Sonia, I think, maybe? I'm not sure. She sets down her food saying, we'll meet tomorrow morning. That's right. See you. Good night. She hangs up and says, "My report's finished. Time for dinner. Oh, but first, I better put you back into your Pokeballs." She turns to 3 Pokemon, saying Snivy, Oshawott, and Tepig. See, I'm actually glad that I actually know their names. But then, as she goes up and taps Snivy on the nose, she says, "Aren't you excited? I bet you can't wait to find out who's going to be your trainer. You 3 better go to sleep early so you'll be all ready for tomorrow." But suddenly there's a ringing, and she says, "Huh? The phone again." And as she goes rushing off, she says, "Hello? Fennel." Fennel? Huh. But Tepig smells the food that Juniper left upon the table. Its tummy starts rumbling, so it goes rushing and leaping in, but lands on the plate, launching all of the food into the air, mostly the berries. One in particular, it spots, its tail glows, and unleashes fire from its snout and grills the berry. And then it chows down on the food. Oh, but as Tepig, really goes in on that food, some of it splashes Snivy. And Snivy gets annoyed, wiping where it got hit with food. Once it's clean, Snivy smiles, only be splattered by more food. As Tepig's almost finished, it doesn't notice an very angry Snivy approaching from behind, until it's too late, and Snivy pokes it in the back. Oshawott then sees the scuffle between Snivy and Tepig and starts to panic. Oshawott goes in trying to break up the commotion, only to be knocked to the side by the two. But as Oshawott, I don't know, I think it just hit? Oh, okay. I guess it hits a wall, and Oshawott grows very angry, and then takes the shell off of its belly. And it starts swinging on Tepig and Snivy. Oh god, that shell is sharp. Tepig almost gets sliced using a binder in order to keep it safe. Snivy ducks behind a chair, but that gets cut up. Tepig and Snivy rush under a small table, and Oshawott cuts through that too, causing the vase of milk. Oh, I don't know why I said milk. I guess water, maybe? A pitcher of water to come crashing down upon them. Oh, wait. I thought she said it was Fennel. Isn't that Professor Rowan's assistant? Oh, no, it's someone else. Yeah, okay. Completely different person. Never mind. Dr. Fennel. So as Juniper's talking with Fennel, saying, "Dream, miss? What's that, Fennel?" Fennel says, "Well, basically, it's a dream." But suddenly there's a crashing in the next room. Juniper comes rushing over, saying, "Hey, what's going on in here?" Only to see the absolute devastation. The three Pokemon soaked, my computer with noodles on it. Juniper says, "Huh? What the?" Oh, and Tepig starts to sneeze from having been soaked. Juniper picks her up, saying, "Oh my, you're snorting smoke out of your snout instead of fireballs." I mean, I kind of prefer that with a sneeze. "Have you caught a cold, Tepig?" As she puts them all back in their balls, and she sweeps up the mess, she thinks, "I can't help worrying about them. Are they ready to form friendships with their trainers?" As she peeks over to the Pokemon all asleep in their balls. An interesting first chapter. I actually don't mind that, because, I don't know, we've had so many times where we hit the ground running pretty hard. It's after everything that was Heart Gold and Soul Silver, a little bit of a breather chapter is kind of needed. Alright, adventure number 2, choices. We pick up one fine morning in New Vema Town, and we see, what are those? Little pigeon? P-dove, right? Yeah, P-dove. Nestling on a little rail and stuff. Man, small towns, usually we're out of them so fast. We pick up at the Juniper Pokemon Lab, where I guess the delivery man and his herdier? Oh, the evolution of Lillipup in Stoutland. Again, it's one of those times where I'm just like, I know the beginning evolution, I know the final evolution. That middle evolution is almost like a mystery to me sometimes. It's like, oh yeah, there's something in between. The delivery man comes up with a heart saying the weather's starting to warm up. It's still pretty chilly in the morning. Plus, it rained last night. Yeah, that sounds familiar. As he opens Juniper's mailbox, he says, this must be the package that I'm supposed to deliver. Yeah, it's a nice little package with a bow on it. Interesting. Oh, our protagonist, everyone. As he looks things over, he says the shipping address is, hey, that's right around the corner. As someone who's very wet and soggy comes up behind him, puts a hand on his shoulder saying, package. And the man swings on the young boy, knocking him over, saying, yikes. The boy says, whoa, as we see Black, right? With his braviary? Oh man, he already has a braviary? Huh. You would think he'd have a rufflet. Quickly looking at the evolution. Yeah, see, that's weird because this doesn't have a middle evolution. It just goes from rufflet to braviary. I would think it did have a middle evolution. Why am I harping on this so much? Look, There's always moments where I'm just like, okay, what's the point of the middle evolution? And then there's other moments where I'm just like, why doesn't it have a middle evolution? I care about these things, okay? And he has a Muna. And this Pokemon's always kind of weirded me out. When it actually has an evolution, Musharna. Interesting. The Black says, ouch, you're mean. The delivery man says, just a boy. Not funny. I've got an important package to deliver for Professor Juniper to some boy named Black. Black says, that's me. I'm Black. No, I'm Black. Cute clip of Trunks saying, this man is not black, don't shoot. Black then grabs the delivery man's hand, racing off with him, saying, as the man says, what the? Black says, I'll prove it, come on. And as they get to an address, Black says, this is my house. The man says, the address looks right. Black then calls out to his mom? It's weird that he calls her ma'am, but he calls out, excuse me, ma'am, this is my home, isn't it? And the woman says, yes, it is, but why do you ask, Black? And Black goes racing off with the man again, saying, hear that? Let's go back. You really didn't have to. Why are you wet? As they get back to Juniper's location, the delivery man says, okay, here you go. Sign here, please. Black says, sure thing. And he raises up the package and clicks his ear, saying, hooray, yahoo! While the delivery man says, I didn't need to deliver it in the first place, right? The delivery man then asks, you're drenched. Don't tell me you were waiting out here all night in the downpour. And Black says, yep, I couldn't wait. Oh, God. Yeah. He is, I already was told, he is the most shonen-y of shonen protagonists right here. And Black says, I've been dreaming of this day for 9 years. While the delivery man runs off saying, this kid is scary, let's scram. And he takes off with his Pokemon. So as Black begins to open it with his Braviary and Moon and looking over his shoulder, he says, all right, let's open it. And we just have regular readings for the Pokemon. Muna, male, the Dream Eater Pokemon, nicknamed Musha, and Braviary, male, a valiant Pokemon, nicknamed Brave. As Black begins to open the box, he says, inside this box is our new friend, a friend who will fight by our side and help us win the Pokemon League Championship. Oh God, an actual protagonist who actually wants to win the Pokemon League. Man. An actually ash-coated protagonist? Weird. Oh, all 3 of them are in the box? It's weird how impersonal this is, though. You think at least Juniper would be handing them over. Is it like this in the game? Why does he have all 3 and all 3 Pokédex? Well, he opens the box and sees Oshawott, Tepig, and Snivy? Black says, oh, they all look good. I get to choose whichever one I like. This Pokédex is mine, too. I'm so happy I'm getting chills. Now you might have a cold. It says, huh? As he starts sniffling. That's a mood. Chills. I really do feel cold. And as he sneezes, all the remaining Pokeballs and Pokedexes go flying. Out pops Oshawott, Tepig, and Snivy. Which, Tepig and Snivy are still kind of a little bit mad at each other. Okay, that first chapter really does help to immediately build the context of why these Pokemon don't like each other. All the while Oshawott is like, oh no, stop fighting. The Black looks at Braviary and questions, why so unfriendly? Tepig then splashes Snivy with mud with its tail, and Snivy desperately wipes it off, and then smacks Tepig with its tail. As the two get into it, Oshawott tries to break it up, and as Black says, whoa, they're scrapping! Well, Pokemon are born fighters after all. It's natural for them to tussle when they're all revved up. Yeah, that's it. Go for it. No, Black. This is not a friendly fight. In the scuffle between Tepig and Snivy, Oshawott gets smacked around a little bit too, and so it reaches its breaking point, growing incredibly incensed and knocks away Tepig, and then starts smacking into Snivy. Tepig grows bitter and just runs away from the whole conflict. Black saying, "Oh, hey, come back here, you!" Meanwhile, Juniper, oh God. Juniper comes back to Oshawott and Snivy laid out with her front door an utter mess. Oh my God. You just cannot catch a break, can you, lady? I mean, a lot of the other professors end up going through a lot, but usually not this early on. Juniper questions, What in the world happened here? What's going on, Sharon? Bianca? I should be the one asking the questions, Professor Juniper, says Sharon and Bianca. Worried Sharon says, you promised to deliver these Pokemon to us today. We waited and waited, but no Pokemon came. Juniper, obviously angry, says, I had work to do, so I arranged for a delivery man to pick up the package and take it to Black's house. Sharon says, but Black wasn't home last night. Juniper says, it appears the package was open right here. These two valuable Pokedexes are soaking wet, and Snivy and Oshawott are all muddy and beaten up. Where's Black anyway? And where's Tepig and the third Pokedex? Sharon says, I've got some questions too. But a voice calls out, hey Sharon! She holds up Snivy saying, here's your Snivy. Which takes Sharon and Juniper off guard. But Bianca, Bianca. For a second, I'm just like, oh wait, no. He'd have a different name here, but no, because that's just her name in the game, unlike Barry. But I guess you can normally name your rival, so I guess in the game Barry would be in, you could name him Pearl. But I think Bianca and Sharon's names are just absolutely set in stone. Bianca then nuzzles Oshawott saying, I'll take the Oshawott. Sharon says, Bianca, how come you get to choose my Pokemon for me? Bianca says, well, that Snivy kind of looks like you, Sharon. Sharon says, you're such a ditz. Yeah, the stuff that I've seen with Bianca usually has her falling over a lot. Bianca says, I bet the Tepig is with Black. Professor Juniper told us to choose one of the three. Sharon then looks at the Snivy saying, you think we're twins? Juniper, still angry, says, let's go find Black and Tepig. I hate it when things don't go according to plan. Man, that just seems to be your existence so far. He then brings out her Minccino, telling it to clean up this mess for me. All right, Minccino is the little feather duster Pokemon. But as Minccino happily gets to sweeping the front porch, Juniper notices something, saying, hey, hold on, those are Tepig tracks. Sharon looks at them saying, Tepig's headed in the direction following Tepig's heading in this direction, follow the tracks. You know, inflection matters. As they make their way, they come to a crossroad. But from the right direction, they hear a voice saying, come on, come down here. And Tepig's cry, oh God. They look to the side, seeing Black climbing a tree overlooking a cliff, trying to get to Tepig, along with his Moonin and Braviary, which continues my thing of, I really do love the fact that a lot of these protagonists already have Pokemon with them. Because that just makes more sense. In a world full of so many Pokemon, the idea of not already having a Pokemon before you get your starter, as it is, just doesn't make any sense. But it being a thing where the professor gives it to you and a Pokedex because they want you to go out and record, get as much information as possible, and here's something that'll evolve quickly to help you on your journey. That just makes so much more sense. And I think that's always kind of been the case, but it feels so much more obvious here. But I just love the connection that a lot of the protagonists have before they get the starters. It doesn't feel like, oh, Pokemon are this big mystery, when it's like, they really shouldn't. No Pokemon should really be a mystery in a world of Pokemon. As they see Black doing something very foolhardy, Bianca says, oh, that looks dangerous. While Sharon says, it is dangerous. But Juniper tells them, shh, both of you, shh. As Black makes his way out to the branch that Tepig is on, still sniffling, Black says, you're sulking, aren't you? You think the other two ganged up on you. You got frustrated, so you ran away. Sounds like you've got a cold. You could have whipped them if you weren't sick, huh? Is that what you're thinking? And then he sneezes as he wipes his nose. He says, I've got a cold too, just like you. I'm going to choose you, because I like you. Which really strikes a chord in Tepig's heart. Black says, my name is Black. Nice to meet you. And as Tepig, tears in his eyes, tries to go towards Black, suddenly it's being attacked by something. As Braviary tries to shield Tepig with its wing, Black looks around saying, something is attacking us. Bianca says, oh, this looks bad. And Sharon turns to her saying, this is bad. The shots are coming so fast they can't tell where they're coming from. Oh, I gotta say, the way they draw Juniper in this manga, like, dang. Like, you really want to emphasize mature woman. Because she got that devilish look on her face. And she says, good. Sharon says, what? Juniper says, I was going to give each of you a Pokedex, and one of the three Pokemon to send you off on a journey to fill your Pokedexes with data. Sharon says, uh-huh. But Juniper says, I don't know Black very well, but you recommended him so strongly that I chose him to be the third member of your trio. Ah, so he was the very last pick. Interesting. The funny thing is, there's always about 3 starters, and naturally you would think there's 3 Pokedex, but so often the Pokedexes don't really go to who they're supposed to. And Red and Blue got theirs as was supposed to happen, but then Green stole hers. When it came to Gold, well, shoot, even in the terms of the manga, Red really wasn't supposed to get a Pokedex at first. It was mostly just Blue at the outset. Red just happened to stumble into the situation. Then with Gold, Silver, and Crystal, Gold managed to push for his, Silver stole his, and then Crystal kind of got hers through a bit of happenstance. And then Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald too. Ruby and Sapphire kind of, I can't remember. Was Ruby even supposed to get a Pokedex? I don't think initially. Sapphire was supposed to have one because she wanted to start a journey, and Emeralds ended up getting lost. And Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, the Pokedexes were supposed to go to Diamond and Pearl, but this is one of the first times where it's just like, no, it's gone. The Pokedexes kind of went to everyone they were supposed to. It's just that 2 of them got damaged. So something's always going wrong with the Pokedexes. And that's a nice little hiccup in terms of the plot. Keep things interesting. And it's interesting that Black, much like a lot of the other protagonists, wasn't even really supposed to get his. He was the last stop on this little turf. Juniper says, to be honest, I was going to ask him to step down because he made such a mess of things, but if he can handle this situation without any help, I'll forgive and forget. But Sharon, with a smile, says, prepare to be impressed, which got Juniper questioning, like, I like that. Sharon already has a lot of faith in him. Which is interesting. Isn't he supposed to be the rival character? You got the one who excels and then the one who's, I guess, a little bit behind. I think that's what they represent. Because Sharon is at the forefront of things and is always like a step ahead of you. Whereas Bianca is always a step behind. That I do know from terms of the games. And it's funny because for a lot of people, they feel like the rival characters went in more of the direction of Bianca after a certain point. Okay, back with Black. He says, what Pokemon is attacking us? And where is it hiding? What kind of attack is that? Think. And he starts smacking his head. He then calls out for his Muna, and Sharon says, look, to Juniper. And as she turns, Muna glomps onto Black's head? The hell? Much to Juniper's shock, Sharon pulls up a diagram saying, allow me to explain. Black's head is filled to the brim with his dream of winning the Pokemon League. He's a visual aid. Bianca says, you had that prepared? Sharon says, he lives and breathes his dream, you see. There isn't any space left for thinking about other stuff. So whenever he needs to think something through, he has Musha eat his dreams. To empty his head, Musha helps him wipe his mind blank, totally blank. And as Black's head has gone completely blank from the dream eating, Sharon explains, and once his mind is blank, he can take in whatever is in front of him. Then his blank mind turns black, from blank white to solid black. That's freaky. So the white represents the blankness of his mind, and then Black thinks, from blank white to solid black. Tepeki is getting attacked by, so as his mind starts to fill with the information around him, he can zoom in on something, and he hones in on something, so everything else is blacked out, but what he needs to focus on is represented in white. That's freaky. Kind of looks like a dust skull. As Black pulls Muna off of his head, he says, all these trees are thick with leaves, but the tree Tepe climbed is practically bare. That means someone stripped off its leaves. So we'll find the attacker wherever there's a big clump of leaves. He says there, and he tells Braviary to attack, and it does so with, gust, wing attack? Not sure. Attacking a bunching of leaves. Oh, it's Swaddle. Okay. Swaddle comes leaping out of the leaves, and as Black sees it, his Pokédex starts to beat. Black pulls it out of his pocket saying the Pokédex is reacting to it. Is this how it works? And as he pulls it up, he brings out the info on Swaddle, the sewing Pokemon. This Pokemon makes clothes for itself. It chews up leaves and sews them with sticky thread exuded from its mouth. Black says the sewing Pokemon Swaddle is a sewing Pokemon that makes clothes out of leaves. Swaddle was collecting leaves in that tree. It must be mad because it thinks Tepig is invading its territory. And yes, Swaddle is still attacking Tepig, which causes the branch that Tepig is on to break. Black says, look out! But Tepig manages to regain its footing at the last second, bound off of the falling branch, leap up towards Swaddle, and unleashes a fire blast from its snout, cooking Swaddle. Bianca says, wow! Well, Sharon is impressed. Snivy just goes, But Sharon's saying, what quick reflexes, and so agile, amazing. This is interesting because Sharon ended up with the one who is at the disadvantage from the protagonist. Very interesting. Oh yeah, but technically Ruby's rival would have been Sapphire, and her Pokemon was weak to Ruby's Swampert. I'm also curious how White will be incorporated in the story because we have people to get all the starters. So how does White factor into this story? Well, regardless, as Tepig lands before Black, Black smiles saying, so, how about it? Will you accept me as your trainer? And Tepig gives a nod. Black says, awesome. Okay, now that you're one of us, you get to join in with something I do every day. And he goes over to the cliff and breathes in, saying, here goes. Juniper looks over as Bianca and Sharon plug their ears. Oh god, what is he gonna do? And both Tepig and Juniper are taken off guard as Black yells out to the distance, Yahoo! Muna and Braviary are yelling too as Black calls out, I'm going to the Pokemon League Championship and I'm gonna win! I'm really, really, really gonna win it! Watch out, reigning champion. You two Elite Four, ready or not, here I come. Let's go, Brave, Musha. And then he just takes off. Oh man, he is way too shonen protagonist. My god. Woof, that ambition. My goodness. You know what? Red went on his journey due to cockiness, not really with a goal in mind. It didn't really feel like. Gold, he had a bit of a mission, get silver. Ruby, he went for the rebellious thing. It's just like, oh no, I want contests and stuff. Sapphire mostly just wanted gym badges. There was no want for the championship, at least as far as I know. Which I feel like I would love to actually have a story where Sapphire goes to be champion of the region. But Black? Oh, he is... God, it's just Ash. It's just Ash. And you know what? Because I've had so many other vastly different characters, it's just like, you know what? This is kind of a breath of fresh air. Because, man, he is... Wow. Just the basics of the basics. I don't mind that. As they watch Black fly off, Bianca says he's gone. Juniper says, gone. Without even so much as a by your leave. Sharon says, he's gone, all right. Juniper says, well, that was rather chaotic, but it appears as though my plan is still on track. I'm counting on you two as well. Bianca says, yep. Sharon says yes, but as they access their Pokedex, Bianca says, huh? I can't turn on my Pokedex. Sharon raises his hand, saying, me neither. Juniper says, what? And she thinks to herself, did all the commotion this morning make the Pokedexes malfunction? And as she looks to the heaven, she says, does this mean the only working Pokedex is Black's? Oh no, as she looks to the sky-high Black in his Pokemon. Oh my goodness. And he's already starting out with a flying Pokemon. My goodness, this lucky little thing. Usually we don't get to the flying Pokemon till later. Okay, what's the level? Oh my god, what the hell? Okay, yeah, I figured it had to be high level to already be, so big, but 54 level, a level 54 Braviary. What the hell? Musha, his Moonin is already like, okay, that's a little pushing it. Like, why are you that high level? But the Braviary is 54? Oh my goodness, how does his teams stack out later. That is surreal. And you know our region is very interestingly shaped. I kind of want to play this. Who knows? Maybe one day when I'm big and famous, yeah, right? I'll be able to play some of the Pokemon games I never got around to on stream or something. That is wild though. Oh man, this is interesting. Okay, you know what? I've already got a jiving with this story so far. Alright, it's adventure number 3, a nickname for Tepig. Oh, Bianca and Charon have entered into a Pokemon battle. Bianca tells her Oshawott to use Tackle, while Charon says, "You two Snivy, tackle!" And the two rush into each other. They tackle into each other over and over again, until Snivy knocks Oshawott, unfortunately, right into Bianca, knocking her head off. Charon says, "Are you okay, Bianca?" But Bianca and Oshawott have the same kind of reaction as Bianca says, "That hurt. Charon, how could you?" Charon says, "Uh-oh." Bianca erupts into tears, saying, "I will never ever forgive you for this." As Oshawott starts going in, Bianca starts hitting Charon, while Oshawott starts swinging on Snivy. Charon says, "Bianca, stop hitting me!" And she cries, bopping him. Juniper grows visibly angry, and both she and her, I still having trouble remembering this Pokemon's name, Minccino, shout, "Be quiet!" And as Minccino starts cleaning up all the devastation, Juniper says to the two, "What do you think you're doing waging a Pokemon battle in my living room? This room is a mess." Bianca says, "Wow, Pokemon are so powerful." Bowls Juniper over as Oshawott gives deep bows alongside Charon, who forces his Snivy to bow as well. Bianca says, "But so small. I love my new Pokemon friends." Charon says, "I'm so sorry, Professor Juniper. Bianca just couldn't wait for the Pokedexes to be fixed. Hey, you have to apologize too." Juniper says, "Never mind." But as they enter into the lab, Charon asks the Pokedexes. Juniper says, "Haven't been repaired yet. It's taking longer than I thought." As Bianca says, "That's all right. Come on, Charon. Let's have another Pokemon bet." But Charon immediately shushes her as Juniper glares. The funny thing is, at the start, Juniper had this elegant, like very mature look to her that almost made her a little off model from how she looks in the games. But now that the artist has drawn her more, she's a lot more like standard to how she looks in the games and anime. And like the moment he couldn't take her as seriously anymore, he switched it up. Jennifer says, "Oh, are you in contact with Black?" Karen says, "No, he doesn't have a cell phone." "Really?" Bianca says, "Wish I knew what he's up to." Karen then says, "What else? He's either announcing his dream to anyone who doesn't want to listen, or buried up to his ears in Tepig research." Juniper pauses at this, but sure enough, Black is at the library, shouting, saying, "Yoo-hoo! I'm going to the Pokemon League. I'm going to win. I'm so totally, absolutely going to win. Watch out, Elite Four. Chantel, Grimly, Caitlin." Oh, there's Caitlin. Yep, sure enough, she's already a member of the Elite Four in Unova, which shows that at least a minimum of 5 years has passed since we last saw her. Marshall, you two Alder, reigning champion. Thanks for giving us the update on the standing in the Unova region. Usually it takes a while till we get to the Elite Four, but there they are. While the rest of everybody in the library says, "Shh." Black tells Tepig, "I know I'm in a library, but I just can't help myself." Moving on. The evolved form of Tepig isn't in this book either. Yeah, for some reason, they always make the fully evolved form of starter Pokemon a bit of a mystery. Black says, "Okay, next." But Tepig's pulling at his pant leg, saying, "Be patient. I can't give you a good nickname until I find out what kind of Pokemon you're going to evolve into. If you're going to become a big tough Pokemon, you wouldn't want a name that fits the form you're in now, would you? But maybe you're one of those Pokemon that doesn't evolve." But then he looks over and sees that Tepig is already gone, saying, "Huh?" He rushes outside where Tepig's running away, saying, "What's the matter? Come back here, Tepig." I got mad because you only care about me for what I'll become, not what I am now, kind of situation. Back at the lab, Juniper says, "I see." He looks up what Pokemon they'll evolve into and bases their names on that. Karen says, "Yes, he has a Munna and Braviary already. he named his Muna Musha because he found out it was going to evolve into Musharna someday. Yeah, that's funny because a lot of other people kind of name them for the moment, and then their nicknames don't really match what they become later. He named his Braviary Brave back when it was still a Rufflet. Juniper says, how unusual. Sharon says, that's just the kind of boy Black is. He's always doing research to prepare to follow his dream. And he's been preparing for 9 years for this day. We three have been friends since we were little. Black lived in another town, but he used to come to Nuvema town a lot to play. That kind of looks like Palmer. But as they watch a Pokemon battle between a Sock and Throw, which, so interesting, those names, a young Black says, Sharon, guess what? Grown-ups have Pokemon battles to see who's the best. Want to try? We could borrow your parents' Pokemon. The young Sharon says, sure, let's do it. Bianca says, sounds fun. Sharon explains, at first, we just pretended. Yeah, there's a Stoutland and an Unpheasant, I guess they got from their parents. At first, we just pretend, staging make-believe Pokemon battles. But Black got more and more into it. As Sharon and Bianca are exhausted, the young Black says, guess what? I've made up my mind. I'm going to become the best Pokemon trainer ever. Jennifer says, how cute. I like a child with ambition. But Sharon says, that was only the beginning. Bianca says, that's right. Sharon explains, Black went off on his own and researched how to become the best Pokemon trainer. And then young Black says, the top trainer is the champion of the Pokemon League. Sharon explains, so then he researched the time and location of the championship. Found out what the entry qualifications are. My God, this kid had more ambition at 5 years old than most people. He writes down collect 8 gym badges, Pokemon League victory plan, and drew up a strategy for success. With his victory plan, he rushes over, saying, Sharon, Bianca, I've got it. Check this out. Sharon reads it, saying, you have to defeat the Elite Four and the reigning champion at the Pokemon League? Black says, but first, to qualify to challenge those 5, you have to collect all 8 gym badges. Sharon says, to get the gym badges, you have to defeat the gym leaders of Pokemon gyms, and to fight the gym leader, you have to visit their gyms in different towns all over the Unova region. Bianca says, that means you'll have to travel far away. Black says, right, we'll have to go on a training journey. Yay! Sharon says, but will your mom and dad let you travel all by yourself, Black? Black says, that could be a problem. Plus, I've got kindergarten. But if I don't go on a journey, I can't visit the Pokemon gyms. And if I don't visit the Pokemon gyms, I can't enter the Pokemon League. I've got to figure out a way to convince them. And as Black and Sharon are talking, Bianca says, oh, look, our neighbor's on TV. Sharon says, you're right, he's a super famous Pokemon researcher. Black says, this is... I've seen him before. This is Juniper's dad, Cedric? Or is it her husband? No, it's dad. The reporter says, really? A new Pokedex is under development, Professor Juniper? Wait, no, think about it. If their last name is Juniper, what's our Juniper's first name? Aria? Oh. Aria. Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm told it's a high-tech instrument that gathers information on the Pokemon you encounter. The reporter says, I see. Does this mean you'll be going on a journey to collect data? Cedric says, oh, I think not. Better leave that to the young folk. Black sees this and gets excited, saying, this is my big break. Although he's standing in front of the TV and Bianca says, Black, I can't see. But he turns to them saying, helping a famous researcher is the perfect excuse for going on a training journey. He grabs Sharon, pulling him along, saying, take me to his house, Sharon. Sharon says, but we're still too young to go on a... Bianca says, hey, your house was just on the screen for a second, Sharon. Sharon narrates, and Black sets his mind to something, nothing can stop him. I couldn't believe he pulled it off. Black went home that very day and convinced his parents to move to Nuvema town. What the heck? Okay, who are this kid's parents? After that, he tried everything to get the professor to notice him. He staged Pokemon battles every day in front of your house, Professor Juniper. Ariana says, okay, what is her full name? Aruya? I really don't know how to pronounce Aria. There you go. Aria says, really? I never noticed. And Bianca says, poor Black. Sharon says, never mind. Professor Juniper. See, I have to say which Professor Juniper now, because it's just like, okay, no, not the older one, the younger one. Says, anyhow, I have to get in touch with Black to tell him he has our only working Pokedex. He needs to take extra good care of it. Sharon says, I'll go after him and give him the message. But if we wait till after you fix our Pokédexes, Jennifer says, you're right. It would be best if you found Black right away. Would you do that for me? Bianca says, all right. Sharon says, sure. And as they make their way out and looking at a map, Sharon says Black would be following a route to a Pokemon gym. Bianca says he's probably headed for, but a voice calls out from behind her. Bianca? Bianca says, uh-oh. All right, doesn't Bianca have like a dad or something? Let me guess. He doesn't want her becoming a Pokemon trainer or something like that. Meanwhile, with Black is in a very, I don't know, cavey area. There's always one. And as he calls out, hey, Tepig! Muna gestures to a cave entrance saying, and Black says, in here? He spots Tepig saying, there you are, come out. But Tepig turns away. Black says, I wonder if Tepig thinks I don't like it the way it is, because I want to give it a name that to match its evolved form. He then says, you sure like to sulk. I love Braviary being like, bruh, that was not the thing to say. Tepig grows angry and then shouts, which is very devastating. I guess it echoes from the cave. Black says, hey, if you shout like that in here, you could startle a wild Pokemon and get attacked. And sure enough, Tepig is assaulted by something he can't see. Black says, what did I tell you? And actually, Black has a lot of experience. Black feels more like, despite his personality, he feels more like when we were introduced to Crystal. A lot more competent than you would assume for someone their age. As whatever it is, it's just moving all around Tepig. Tepig tries to fight back. Black says, what? You're trying to pick a fight with that wild Pokemon? He then thinks to himself, are you trying to prove how tough you are? Good for you. No, Black, I don't think that's the takeaway here. He then thinks, but Tepig's opponent seems even tougher. Tepig can't win without any knowledge of its opponent. He then calls for his Munamusha to eat his dreams. What a weird concept, but it's kind of fun. And as Muna munches down on his dreams, Black says, to find the wild Pokemon hiding in the dark, I need to make my mind totally blank. The clues flow into my head. White noise turns to black. The Pokemon Tepig is fighting against is, and as he hones in on it, isn't that a Woobat or something? Black takes off the Muna and says, now I know what the wild Pokemon is. The Tepig is fighting to show me it's got what it takes. I don't want Tepig to think he can't win without me. How can I pass on the info? He looks around, spots something saying, I've got it. He chucks a rock, hitting the cave wall. Tepig turns to where the rock hit. And sees heart-shaped things. Is the Woobat hitting the wall? Yep, it is called Woobat. Okay. Yeah, is one of the few I know because it has such an interestingly distinctive design. Tepig lights up the area with its flames from its snout, revealing the Woobat. Black thinks to himself, good job, you caught the clue I gave you, Tepig. It's a Woobat, a psychic and flying Pokemon type. Oh, it's psychic and flying? Dang. Woobat, the bat Pokemon. I mean, sure, that's like 50 kinds of bats around this game. Oh, suction from its nostrils enables it to stick to cave walls during sleep. It leaves a heart-shaped mark behind. Oh, I didn't know that. Tepig then, I think, kicks a rock towards the Woobat. Ooh, getting it snuck in its snoot. And as Woobat flies around confused, Tepig locks in, ready for the attack. Black thinks, great move. A Woobat can't fly properly when its nose is plugged, and at the right time, Tepig goes in, strikes Woobat, embedding it into the cave wall, landing gracefully. Tepig looks to Black with a smug look. Oh, this Tepig's got a lot of personality. Black thinks to himself, Tepig looks so proud. You can't stand losing, can you? You sure have a strong fighting instinct. You know what? It's not my favorite starter, but I gotta say, it's starting to grow on me. Alright, you convinced me. You're tough enough already, so I'll name you Tep. Ah, there you go. And he honed in on what Tepig wanted and adjusted. I like this kid. I mean, he isn't too hard-headed. Tepig kinda got that personality instead. Alright, as Black makes his way, he says, I haven't the foggiest what you're gonna evolve into, but after watching that fight, I can't wait to see it. You're gonna get even stronger when you evolve. I can feel it in my bones. We're one step closer to winning the Pokemon League. I want you by my side while I follow that dream, Tep. But first, we gotta visit the Pokemon gyms. First stop, Stratton City. Stratton Gym has triple gym leaders. Yeah, there we go. That's the dude. Chili and Cress. Meanwhile, back home, oh god, her father, Bianca says, no fair. Juniper says, one kid prepared for his training journey for 9 years with the support of his family, and another kid isn't ready on the day of her departure. Bianca's father says, I won't allow it. You're not going on a training journey to gather Pokemon data. It's a dangerous world out there. You're much too immature to handle it. Bianca says, let go of me. I want to go. Her father says, I said no, and I mean no. Chara says, how long till we leave? Juniper says, no idea. Is that a thing in the games? Or is that a thing everywhere else? Hold on. Nope, it is in fact in the game. Well, I won't read too far into it because I am interested in how Bianca manages to change her father's mind. Especially considering, again, my only knowledge of Bianca is that she is a klutz. Charon is studious, Bianca is a klutz. Okay, whoa, Tepig's already level 15, dang. And yet his other Pokemon have leveled up too? Huh, this kid is something else. At this rate, everybody else is going to be so far behind him. Do Charon and Bianca have any other Pokemon now? Huh, guess we'll find out. Alright, and the last chapter of this volume and this episode is Adventure number 4, Black's first trainer battle. Official trainer battle. Black confronts Tepig, saying, listen up, Tepig. You're the third Pokemon on my team. We have to learn to work together to combine our battle skills in new ways. Got it? Tepig pounds its chest. Black says, good. There are 3 ways to train. First, practice on your own. We can fight each other. Second, practice against wild Pokemon. We can fight wild Pokemon we run into when we're walking through the tall grass or whatever. And third, we can fight other Pokemon trainers that we meet on our journey. In other words, we can challenge whoever we meet who has a Pokemon we want to test ourselves against to a Pokemon battle. That's called a trainer battle. There's only one problem with this plan. I've never fought a trainer battle with anyone before. Tepig is bowled over. Black explains, it's not like I could have a full-fledged battle in the middle of my town. Some people think Pokemon battles are uncivilized. Really? Huh. Is that why he moved away from where he originally was? That's so fascinating. Considering how big Pokemon battles are in the other regions. Then again, Unova is like the furthest away from the likes of Johto and Hoenn and Sinnoh and all that. Black explains Bianca's parents are super strict, and Charon is always worried about what the grown-ups think of him. They always refuse to fight a Pokemon battle with me. All I could do to train is have Brave and Musha fight against each other, or go out into the tall grass to secretly battle wild Pokemon. Kid, if you got your Pokemon this high a level, then good job, shoot. But now that I've started on my training journey, I bet I'll meet lots of trainers like me who want to improve their technique. As he sets out to Route 1, he calls out, I'm ready to battle anyone with any Pokemon. Come out, Pokemon trainers, wherever you are. Hello? Isn't there a trainer anywhere out there who wants to accept my challenge? That is unrealistic to the games. You would have run into a trainer by now. At least one. I guess there aren't many trainers around here. We're at the end of Route 1, almost to Accumulatown? Huh, that's pretty on the money name. Like, my god. Oh, hey, a hiker! As he's walking, he runs into a big mountain of a man. Black says, did that rock just move? What the? Then he sees a hiker. Black thinks to himself, he's huge. The hiker says, I heard you call out, young man. I accept your challenge. He brings out, Blitzel, little giraffe thing, Cottony, little cotton swab thing, and this one, Roggenrola, which I'm actually more used to that one because of the ones that I ran into in Sun and Moon in the mining cave. I had a Gigalith for a little while, but it wasn't doing it for me, only up to a certain point. As he brings out all of his Pokemon, Black says, you mean you're a Pokemon trainer? The hiker says, exactly. Didn't you just proffer a challenge to a Pokemon battle, young man? What is your goal in life? Oh, wow. Shoot, you've been waiting all this time for just this. Black says, yes, I did. My goal, to win the Pokemon Championship at the Pokemon League. The hiker says, that's a fine goal you've got there. Very well, I'll fight you. Black says, really? He then thinks to himself, my first trainer battle ever. He swallows hard. The hiker says, Blitzel, Cottony, Raggenrola. Go, my 3 Pokemon. Oh, 3 at once. Black says, 3 at once. He flips through his notes and says, this is a triple battle. Ooh, a triple battle? And shoot, have I ever gotten to engage in a triple battle? I don't think I have. Okay, it was only available in black, white, black 2, white 2, XY, and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Okay, that's why I've never gotten to actually fight one of those. Like, I don't think I've ever fought a triple battle before. Interesting. See, that's the thing. There were some mechanics in black and white, black 2, white 2, and X and Y that I do kind of wish I got to play against. Okay, that's an interesting setup. Because it looks like in a triple battle, your Pokemon the furthest to the left can attack the Pokemon on their side the furthest to their left. Interesting. So positioning matters. Black says, don't panic, Tep. This is the newest battle style. It just got added to the official rulebook of the Pokemon Association. This man must be a very experienced trainer to use such a new complicated battle style. Get ready. Tep, Brave, Musha? Alright. The hiker says, you've studied hard, young man. Raggenrola, Rock Slide, Blitzel, Tail Whip, Cottony, Razor Leaf. See, I don't know what the Tail Whip's really gonna do, but the other 2 attacks, yeah. Then again, the Tail Whip will lower their defenses, while everything else pours into them. Rock Slide against Braviary should be pretty good. Actually, Rock Slide and Razor Leaf, that should do some damage. Yeah, it's mostly the Rock Slide against Tepig and Braviary. There we go. The Razor Leaf will just do, more minor damage, but with the lower defenses because of the Tail Whip, that's pretty good. Black says, fine. Then I'll Tep, Flame Charge, Musha, Psybeam, Brave, Aerial Ace. Okay, so Flame against the Cottony should do pretty well. Aerial Ace and Psybeam, I don't know. I mean, that'll just mostly damage them normally, because none of them are really weak to any of those attacks. Ooh, and Raggenrola is resistant to flying type. Okay, they're doing pretty well. It does look like the Cottony bears the brunt of the Flame Charge. Blitzel gets the Aerial Ace, and Raggenrola gets the Psybeam. Okay, so nominal damage. Black says, I did it. Wow, a battle feels so different when it's against another real-life trainer. The Pokemon attacks are very precise. Rock Slide hit Musha and Brave, and Razor Leaf struck Tep and Brave. I see those attacks can strike more than one opponent, one Pokemon at a time. Yep, I've never fought a battle anything like this before. I can learn so much, but... And then he looks over at the hiker, who seems a little nervous. Black brings out his Pokedex saying, can I win? I think Cottony is a Grass-type Pokemon. And Tep is standing right across from Cottony. Tep's position looks to be just right. Let's start off by defeating Cottony. Flame Charge. And Tepig does just that, managing to damage the Cottony. Black says, ooh, that's a good move. But take this. The hiker seems to be growing more and more nervous as the heat is on. And then he says, I can't take this anymore. It's too hot. It's like a sauna out here. I can't stand it. Oh, it's the heat. Okay. As he runs away from the battle, Black says, huh? What? Oh, God. And the hiker opens up his bag that has, gallons of water, and he just starts chugging it. Black says, hey, we're in the middle of a battle. The hiker says, phew, that was refreshing. Oops. And then all of his Pokemon are down. He says, oh, no. Oh, I lost again. As he holds all of his Pokemon. It's no use. I might as well retire. Black says, what? Wait, why? Why would you do that? The hiker says, young man, the truth is, I pretend to be confident when I begin a battle, but I'm a rotten trainer. It's been 20 years since I first dreamed of entering the Pokemon League, and I have yet to succeed. Oof, that hurts me on a personal level, buddy. I get you. I get you. You begin a dream with a lot of hopes and ambitions, and then you find out you ain't really great at it. It hurts. It hurts. I mean, sometimes you just kind of gotta try another path to what you want, and try a different angle. You never know. The Black says 20 years. Yeah. Liker says, did you know you need 8 gym badges to enter the Pokemon League? Black says, of course. The hiker says, I started collecting badges when I was about your age. I dreamed that one day I would compete in the Pokemon League, but always gave up part way there. The Pokemon League would start, I wouldn't have finished collecting the badges, and I'd end up as a spectator in the stands watching the other trainers who got in. Pathetic. Oh man, so he never even, dang. To not have even made it that far. Oh buddy. Year after year, it was the same until finally I started to give up on my dream. Nowadays, I spend my days waiting for trainers to pass by on Route 1. Only challenge people I think I can't possibly lose against. Pitiful. But today I got defeated by a young man who never even fought a trainer battle before. Black says, only because you ran off in the middle of our battle, Mr. Andy. Oh, that's his name, Mr. Andy? That's the problem. As you can see, I can't handle the heat. Whenever my opponent uses a fire-type attack, I get all woozy and thirsty, and I just can't keep my focus on the battle. Tepig's gulping down one of his friggin' bottles. That is kind of sad, though. He seems like a nice enough guy. I've got no choice but to retire if I can't even finish a battle. He sniffs. Black says, no, no, no. What'll happen to your Pokemon if you give up on your dream? What about their dreams? Maybe they still dream of qualifying for the Pokemon League. Have you thought of that? I don't think they do. Look, my Cottony won't even come near me these days. It's sick and tired of its disappointing trainer. Black takes a moment, and then he starts to kind of sweat a lot. It's still pretty hot, actually. And he says, oh, man, you're sweating like mad. As Black wipes the sweat away, he says, that's weird. The battle's over. Oh, no. Oh. Oof. Only you can prevent forest fires by not unleashing a lot of flame attacks in an open field. My God. As they look to see a lot of fire. And he says, that field is completely in flames. When did this happen? He then looks to see Black standing on doing a handstand? What? And he says, what are you doing, young man? Black says, Brave, help me. Musha, I'm ready. And so Braviary lifts him up by his feet while Muna clomps onto his head while he's upside down, overlooking the flames. Okay, they're near a river. I gotcha. Black thinks, okay, the source of the fire is, wait, I better find a way to put it out first. Mr. Andy and I don't have any water-type Pokemon, but there's a river nearby, that's it. He then says, Brave, can you carry that big rock? Yes, you can do it. Hold tight. After all, you're strong enough to pick up a car and fly with it. Okay, man, Braviary, shonky. I mean, it ain't a level 50 for nothing. My God, strong enough to pick up a car. In the hands of children, drop the rock from as high as you can, straight into the river. Mr. Andy. Andy's on the ground saying, it's no use, young man. It's too hot. I can't think straight. Friggin' me. Black grabs him by his collar saying, listen, I need your help. You have to pull yourself together. Black hears the splash from Braviary, launching the boulder into the water. And as the water has come rocketing up, Andy says, water, but it's too far away. Black says, that's where you come in, Mr. Andy. We need your Cottony. Andy says, my Cottony? Black tells him, it can use cotton spore, can it? Have your Cottony shoot out as many spores as it can, directly at that pillar of water. Andy says, Cottony, cotton spore. And Cottony does just that. Oh, okay. So now all the cotton spores absorb the water, and they can transport it that way. That's actually pretty smart. Black says, the spores have sucked up a ton of water. Brave, drop them down over here. And Braviary does just that, dousing the flames with the soggy cotton spores all across the field, and thus the fire has been put out. Nice! That's some good crafty thinking. I love it when the mangaka actually creates situations where the trainer has to find a way with Pokemon that aren't of the type that he needs in the given moment. That's actually pretty fun. And I complain about Gold and his weird way of flying through the air, but I mean, it's a very interesting way of getting through the air. I mean, dude, You also have freaking Green and her freaking hydro pump jetpack. Black says, you know the source of that grass fire was your cottony, Mr. Andy? Andy says, what? Black says, it was playing with the smoldering flames left over from Tep's attack. That must have been what spread the fire. Andy gets mad, saying, oh, that makes me so mad. Black tells him, chill out. I think your cottony was just trying to overcome its weakness, fire. It probably wanted to improve its skills to get you to reconsider retiring, especially since you were about to give up because you have a hard time with heat. Andy says, oh, cottony. And he hugs his Pokemon. He then tells Black, young man, tell me something. What was that head-biting stunt all about? As he puts the cottony on his head, Black says, oh, that. I had my Muna eat my dream. My mind is full of my dream of winning the Pokemon League. I get Mush to eat my dream when I need to clear my head to think about other things. And he said, questions, but won't your dream disappear if you do that? Black says, don't worry. No matter how many times I have Musha eat, my dream, it never dies. That's actually kind of inspirational. And he says, a dream that never dies. There was a time when my dream was like that too. I wanted to win the Pokemon League, but I lost my resolve. Black pushes Andy, saying, I got an idea. Why don't we follow our dreams together? Here's how you do it. Repeat after me. Andy says, Black says, come on. Andy says, Black says, 1, 2, and they shout to the heavens, I'm going to win the Pokemon League. I'm going to win. I'm going to the Pokemon League and I'm going to win. I'm going to the Pokemon League and I'm going to win too. I'm really going to win. They then look to each other and laugh. Black thinks to himself, that was my first trainer battle, but it was so much fun. Mr. Andy is sensitive to heat, so he avoids fire, and his judgment as a trainer is clouded when his opponents attack with fire-type moves. Even a little thing like that can affect the course of a battle. Trainers have to train their own mind and body too. That's what I learned today. And that is so shonen. It's actually very inspirational too. I know Mr. Andy will overcome his weakness and compete in the Pokemon League because the dream he recommitted to today is strong enough to attract Musha to him. Yeah, you see Musha, kind of joyfully looking towards Andy as he makes his way down the road. Blackton says, all right, let's go. Next, we'll challenge a gym leader. He takes off. Oh, but a figure is watching from above a cliff. And as that figure turns away, we have been introduced to N. Yes. Look, how could I not know N of all people? Come on. How could I not know N? See, what I know about the plot of Black and White is a pretty heavy one and asks some very interesting questions that I know kind of gets pushed to the side once you get to Black 2 and White 2, where the villains just drop all pretense. But given how complex a character N is, I do wonder how they'll present him in this storyline, because N is probably the most complex villain out there. I know enough about his story and the story of the organization that he's behind and all that, but I don't know how it'll be presented here. How will this kind of a protagonist go up against him? Honestly, given how the villainous group is presented, it does kind of make a lot of sense why they made Black so straightforward shonen protagonists. Because you kind of need someone with that kind of mindset and ideals to actually pursue something like this and go up against the ideals of N and challenge them. But the question is, will that be a convincing argument to me, the reader? Will they be able to sway how I think of N in that context? Because, shoot, I don't even know if the anime managed to tackle it well, but N is definitely a character who is very popular in the Pokemon space, and I'm interested to see how things go going forward. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'm kind of bummed that Bianca and Sharon got held up so greatly, because now they're already a little behind Black. But we'll see going forward. Black has already very much endeared himself to me. I love that earnestness and that just ambition and drive. It did a lot to win me over. And that little moment just kind of helping the hiker Andy just get back his drive and ambition. That's something that really touched me a little bit. Don't give up on your dreams. Race forward, your ambitions at the forefront of your mind. That's a beautiful sentiment. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, giving you my best of wishes and hopes that I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.